What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Spuddy McGee here with Buds and Sports. You already know it's another edition of Spuddy's Quick Picks. Yes, it is week 3 of the NFL, and we are full-fledged into the season. Honestly, last 2 weeks have been kind of rough. Just a little summary of how I did last week with straight up picking teams in week 2. I am 7-9, repeated from last week on that part, but did worse this week in picking spreads. Yeah, it was a little bonkers week. I was 4-12 this week picking spreads. Not a good week with picking spreads for me. I felt that a lot this week. Not good. But when it came to the over and unders, hey, I'm 9-7 picking the over unders this week. I mean, there was a lot of high scoring games, so definitely a lot of overs that happened last week. But it is a new week, new matchups, so let's just dive right into it. Coming up first on the Thursday night game, we got Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Browns. Cleveland Browns, they are at Cleveland. They're making them the favorites with a 4-point advantage, and the over and under is 38.5. So looking at both teams, Pittsburgh has a offensive problem. It's hard for them to get points on the board. What really helps them is their defense to help them score points. But now that TJ Watt is out, I'm not saying the defense still doesn't have an impact, but TJ Watt makes such a big impact to that defense that's already good. It basically makes them great. But now that he's missing, they're just a good defense. A little less pressure and a little less turnovers on that end. As for the Browns, I don't know what to think of the Browns right now. Brissett is at quarterback, but this is a run-heavy team, so they are able to score some points on the offense and defensive. I don't know. I guess they're not as good as I thought they would be this year. They allowed some big points happen already. I think the 24 points were week 1 and then 31 this past week. So, yeah, a lot of people have been scoring on this defense. So it's not good, but I feel like this week I got the Browns winning this week. Now, do they cover a 4-point spread? I think they do. Steelers, like I said, lacks the offense, and that's going to be the Achilles heel for this whole team in general, because I can see the Browns giving the ball to Chubb, and he's just breaking down this team and basically getting the points scored for the Browns, really. Jacoby Brissett doesn't have to do too much other than protect the ball and allow Chubb or Hunt to do most of the work. So I got Browns. They're covering, and the over-under is 38.5. So I'm going to say an over on this one, because the over-under is pretty low. So I have a safe bet that it's going to go over 38.5 points. Browns win. Up to the next matchup. Okay, we got the Houston Texans versus the Chicago Bears. Texans haven't won a game yet. They lost one, but tied the other with the Colts. As for the Chicago Bears, they're 1-1 right now. So I think a lot of people are underestimating the Texans this year. I mean, I did as well in the earlier weeks. But I feel like their defense, is better than what people think. It's just the offense is what's really lacking on that end. As for the Bears, they still have offensive line troubles, but you could tell that Justin Fields definitely is playing way better than last year. More aware of the pressure, but at the same time, you could be so aware of the pressure, but if you're getting pressure so much, you're bound to make some mistakes, and it's kind of what happened Not saying he made mistakes or anything, just things didn't happen this way against the Packers last week. For Texans, I mean, they have another problem with the offense as well. They lack to score some points. Yeah, but their defense is actually pretty good. So going into this matchup, they are giving the Bears a 2.5 point advantage with a 40-point over and under. I got the Bears winning this one at home. I think they'll cover their 2.5 point spread, and I think we'll go over. I think Bears could score at least 24 points, and Houston can score 20. I think that's the final score, like a 20-24 situation. So Bears, they cover. We got the over. On to the next game. We got the Las Vegas Raiders versus Tennessee Titans. Both teams are winless right now. Didn't think that was going to happen. But here they are, struggling to get a win. Fighting for that win. Tennessee is home. They're giving a 2-point advantage for the Raiders. So Tennessee is an underdog at home right now. But they got beat up by the Bills this past Monday night. They were able to stop Derrick Henry from really getting anything on the ground. And I think Tannehill couldn't really do it much in the air too. So I don't know. Are we calling for Tannehill to get benched soon? It's week 3. I called around week 5, week 6. If they don't get a win on the board, we might see Malik Willis filling in. Who knows? Defense allowed 41 points the other week, and when they lost against the Giants, I guess they allowed 20 points. So, people are scoring on them, and the offense is not really scoring that much points. So, I don't know what to think of the Tennessee Titans. As for the Raiders, heartbreaking loss last week against the Cardinals. It was in their bag, and they couldn't do it. I want to say it was more of a defensive issue than the offensive stalling. I mean, they were just I feel like they were trying to run out the clock, but when it came to overtime, Renfro with the double fumbles, basically, didn't help out because that second one took it to the house, and that's what ended the game. But they allowed Kyler Murray to do things to even get back into it. So, definitely big question mark on this Raider defense right now. Can they stop Derrick Henry like the Bills did? I don't think they can, but I think they'll slow him down. I think, Derrick Henry will have his 100-yard game this week. But I still like Raiders winning this one. I feel like it's going to be a neck-and-neck battle. Probably won by 3 points. I like the Raiders winning this one just because I think overall they have a better team than the Tennessee Titans. Titans right now really has to rely on the rush attack, because if they're not going to do the rush attack through Derrick Henry, they will lose this game. And I trust more that the Raiders will win this game and put it away rather than Titans sticking with Derrick Henry to carry them. I think they cover the spread too. Like I said, I think the Raiders are going to win by 3 points by a field goal. So, yeah. The over-under is 45.5 points. This is a hard one because, I mean, it's like right there. I'm going to go over. I think I'm going to go over a lot this week. And it's funny because some of these overs are like ridiculously high, and I'm still saying over because these matchups are asking for a lot of points to be made. But in this game, I like Raiders. They cover. Give them with the over. On to the next. We got the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Indianapolis Colts. Chiefs are undefeated, still kings of the AFC West. As for the Colts, they've been MIA. They're really MIA right now. I don't know what to think about them. The goose egg last week against the Jags. It was kind of disappointing, honestly, because I really thought Colts were going to have a bounce back game, and they didn't. They went away from their best player, which was ridiculous. And another disappointing thing is the Colts defense. Where are you guys? I don't know if they really got a bunch of injuries on defense right now. They might, but I mean, I just felt like they had enough to at least hold the Jags to at least 20 points. I don't know, but this offense too, very stagnant right now. They got all these yards per game already in 2 games, and haven't really scored. I mean, the first game they scored 20, yeah, but the next game they only scored 0. They only scored 0. Like, that makes sense on my part. Sorry about that, but, 0 points is not acceptable. So going up in this matchup, I mean, I didn't talk about much about the Kansas City Chiefs because, I mean, they're still on top of the AFC West. Despite losing Tyreek Hill, they still got Kelsey there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think this is going to be more of his breakout year. I mean, it's not going to be by much, but he's just such a solid back that you're going to see him more active into the passing game and getting a few more runs in. So you're going to see. I feel like you're going to see his name a lot. Adding Juju into the mix, adding Marquise Vasquez Scantling. Yeah, that's how his name is properly placed. Still got Hartman on the team, so yeah, I mean, plus you got Patty Mahomes as well. You can't bet against Patty Mahomes, not just yet. And they proved that, they are still the team to beat in the AFC West right now. So I like Kansas City this game. The spread is 5.5 points of advantage for the KC Chiefs. I'm taking that cover too. And the over-under is going to be 50. I think we're going over it. KC at least scoring 28. That's like I think that's their floor right now. It's just 28 points minimum. But I don't see Colts scoring anything higher than 20. So that's why I got they're going over the 50-point over-under. So KC, they cover, and they're going over. Next matchup, this one's going to be a nice, juicy matchup right here. Battle of undefeateds right now. Got the Buffalo Bills, got the Miami Dolphins, AFC East matchup. Let's see what's happening. Both teams had dominant performances in 2 different ways. Bills just destroyed the Tennessee Titans 41-7. Defense looking really nice right now. Offense looking like they never left since last year. I mean, even like Diggs is really showing out. A lot of people say he had an off year last year. I think it's just because, I mean, all the attention is on him now. So they had to really stop him from really producing. But, that's why they're like, oh, he had a down year. So this year, I feel like they allowed him to, lay off of all the antics from last year. And look at him. He is showing out. He's being that boy. He had 3 touchdowns last game. Josh Allen, that boy, slinging the football. It's hard to stop him. Miami got a nice defense, but I don't know if they could stop this Bills offense from really flowing because they've allowed a lot of points as well. As for this Miami team, they did a comeback like no other. They're pretty much losing most of the game against the Ravens. They were down at one point, I think, 22-0. But if you heard that, you probably thought the Miami Dolphins lost. But they ended up coming back in the last quarter, scoring 28, outscoring the Ravens 28-3 to get the dub. Big thanks to Waddle. Big thanks to Tyreek Hill. That helps the situation when you got 2 speedster on the team. And yeah, I mean, Tua did do a good job protecting the football and making accurate throws. But, I mean, it does help having Tyreek and Waddle just burn everyone as well. Then again, defense did their job from preventing any more points scored from the Ravens as well. I'm pretty sure the Ravens were trying to run out the clock. Didn't happen, so, Dolphins were able to come back. So, with all those factors into play, I still think Miami's defense is acting a little sluggish right now. I think they're better than what they are, but still not to the pace to go against this Bills offense. As for the Bills defense, I think they could slow down this Miami offense as well. So I like the Bills this week. They're giving a 6-point advantage in favor of the Bills. So the Bills are the favorites to win. So they're giving 6 points to the Dolphins. I don't think it's going to get covered. I think the Dolphins are going to make this a close game. It might be settled by a field goal. So I'm going to say not covered on this bet. Over-under. I want to say the over-under is 52. I'm going to say we're going over. We're going over. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but like I said, still a field goal. Bills win it. They're not covering the spread, though, and we're going over. Ooh, another division matchup here. We got the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. The new look Lions, man, they're scoring a lot of points. Like, even in their loss, they were able to score 30 twice. Week 1, week 2. I like it a lot. They closed their game against the Commanders. They won in convincing fashion as well. They had the Commanders have a little comeback, but they snipped it real quick and didn't allow it to come anymore. They said, stop. Stop, please. As for the Vikings, they got frustrated on Monday night. They didn't get their way at all against these Eagles, the pesky Eagles. They just, bothered Kirk Cousins to the fullest, and that offense could not get going at all. So, yeah. The defense did all that they could, but at the same time, I feel like the offense and the second half of the Eagles, they just were trying to wind down the clock. So who knows the full potential of the Eagles offense on that Vikings defense, but hey, they did allow 24 points pretty early. So not good on the Vikings defense and not a good showing for the Vikings offense last week. Now, will that continue into this week? That is the big question. Personally, I like the Lions this matchup. I'm seeing something, It's not that I'm seeing something new because we saw it last year, but it's all coming together now for the Lions organization. You will start seeing dubs come together now. This offense was bad last year. That was due to injuries and other first time, Goff was out there, first time head coach, things like that. Now it's year 2. Goff looks poised. He knows what he's doing. They're making it safe for Goff to perform well in this offense, which is great. Got Ahmad St. Brown. Got DeAndre Swift. Got a lot of depth and skill positions here. Lions are going to score big there. As for the defense, they're able to get some pressure too as well. Be some disruptors. I like it. I like what I see. They're not the most crisp defense, but they're enough to cause some trouble to this Minnesota team. So I like Lions winning this matchup. They will cover the spread. They're giving actually Lions are the underdogs, so of course they're covering the spread. 6 points. They're giving it to the Vikings as the favorites. But I like the Lions winning this one. And the 52.5 is the over and under. We're going over. I think high scoring game. I mean, Lions, I feel like at least are going to score 30 again. Vikings, somewhere in the 20s. So, yeah, I like that. Lions win. They're covering, and we're going over. Up next, we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the New England Patriots. Let's go. Ravens lost the comeback. Lost on the other hand of that comeback from Miami. offense was able to score their points. So their job was just to kind of run out the clock. Defense just let the other team come back. Not good, not good, not good. I think the defense might be on a little slump right now. I know they're dealing with some injuries as well. So I think they'll go back up the pace. As for the Patriots, I think we're reaching the down years of the Patriots as well. They did win a game against Pittsburgh, but I was in unconvincing fashion. They could have easily lost that game, I felt. New England has not been looking like a good football team. Without Belichick, I think they'll be a lot worse, but Belichick helps with the game plans, but if you don't have the right players, it's hard to execute those game plans sometimes. As for the Ravens, Lamar's looking great this season. He's carrying this football team. Defense just needs to play a little bit more up to par, I feel. But as for the offense, that running game that isn't Lamar Jackson needs to do a little bit better. I know it will once injuries start clearing, so they'll get there. But I like the Ravens this one. They are 3-point favorites. They're covering. Over under is 43.5. They'll go over. So yeah, Ravens cover over. Next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New York Jets. Bengals are really experiencing that Super Bowl slump of being the runner-ups. Runner-ups usually have like a little curse going on of trying to, do well. And it's working. I mean, that little superstitious curse working. Week 1 was a combination of bad things that happened. Joe Burrow didn't have a very good game. Line was just getting him beat up. This time around, I feel like it was definitely more the line not giving Joe Burrow any time at all. Yeah, he wasn't able to do his thing. They took an L in Dallas. They tried to make a little comeback, but too little, too late. And the fact that they only scored 17 points, that's a problem. That's a big problem, especially when you try to address the biggest issue from last season, which was the line, and that's still the issue. It's looking like the offensive line coach got to get shuffled up or get fired or something. So that's a big thing. Defense, it's a middle of the pack defense. Not really much to say about that. But going against these Jets, they're surprising. What I mean by surprising, more on the offensive end than the defensive end. I know they got a lot of talent on defense, and they could do the job of making stops, but when it comes to the offense, we still weren't thinking much of it just because the line hasn't been the greatest, but also Joe Flacco was playing in reserve the last 2 games, but he showed out last game and did a nice little miracle comeback win against the Browns. And basically, right under 2 minutes, came back from a 30-17 deficit. Crazy, right? Crazy. But these is the games we play, or whatever the quote is. But Bengals are a 5-point favorite. Honestly, I still think Bengals will struggle. I think the Jets will actually win this one. This is my upset game of the week, I feel. Upset game of the week. I think the Jets win, so that means they do cover that spread. But we are going over 45 points. That is the over-under. So, yeah, I think the Bengals are going to struggle because of that line situation. I think the Jets will put enough pressure on this line again. Joe Burrow will not have time again. So a lot of mistakes are going to happen, and a lot of frustration is going to happen as well. Jets are going to steal one. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Jets win. They cover over. On to the next NFC East matchup. You got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders. Eagles looking really nice right now to start the season. Defense looking really, really clutch right now. Offense still has the running ability from Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders right now. A.J. Brown looking like he fits right in Philly. A lot of good things to say about the Eagles right now, as much as I hate it as a Cowboy fan. But as a football fan, you're seeing nice things from Philadelphia right now. Really, really nice things. They're looking like to be looking for a run, trying to get that NFC title. We'll see. As for the Commanders, they're going to be hit and miss all season long. Start sluggish, maybe have a hot streak or vice versa. Carson Wentz is their quarterback. Very streaky within the game, so he has his moments in between halves. He might have a terrible half. One first half, then a great second half. Next week, have a great first half, terrible second half. We don't know. He's that type of player that affects the team like that. As for running, I feel like they should stick with Gibson more. Trust him a little bit more. But that's just me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. As for their defense, I think Commanders' defense has been disappointing since the last 2 seasons. We'll see if it ever picks up again. I don't think so. Then you start focusing on the defense to build that up again, because it just hasn't looked the same since they stole the NFC East title like 2 years ago. So, yeah, I don't know. But make it short and sweet. Eagles win this one. They are a 6.5-point favorite. I like them covering it as well. 47 points is the over and under. I actually think they'll be under. Probably the first under I said this whole episode. They're going under. Eagles definitely going to handle the Commanders. They're covering spread and under. On to the next. We got another division game. A lot of division games this week. We got the Saints versus the Panthers. Both teams a little disappointed. I know some injuries did happen for the Saints right now, but still, I don't know. A little disappointed in them right now. At least last week. I thought they were going to handle the Bucs, but things happened. I thought the offense would have really kept them in check, I felt. Didn't happen. James Winston's playing with fractures in his back, but I don't know if that's a good thing, but salute to him. Hopefully he makes the right decisions on that part. But very sluggish, brutal game that they played against the Bucs. They ended up losing that game, so sucks for them. As for the Panthers, they still haven't got a dub left. Both very close games, but it's like hit and miss with this offense. I feel like they have flashes, but then they don't. I don't know what to expect with the bake offense, but it's I guess it's uninspiring, meaning like I'm not really looking forward to this offense really doing good. Even with Christian McCaffrey coming back, I just don't know. The chemistry's not there, so it's hard to really pinpoint this offense in the first 2 weeks. So with that being said, got a middle-of-the-pack type of defense as well. This is probably going to be another sluggish battle, I feel, between beat-up people and a team that needs to find an identity. But I like the Saints winning this one. They are the 3-point favorites. I still like them covering just because they have a little bit more of identity. It's just get over those injuries on offense, please, because it's killing them. They also got a good defense, too. They should handle the Bake-led Panthers offense. So, yeah. The over and under is 40.5 points. I think they're going to go over. So, Saints are winning. They're covering their spread, and they're going over. On to the next. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the LA Chargers. Interesting. Chargers took a loss against the Chiefs, but the bigger situation is Herbert got, they're calling it fractured ribs or cracked ribs, but it's like a fractured cartilage or tear in the cartilage in the rib. So I don't know. It seems like he's going to be playing, Herbert. So hopefully he doesn't try to hurt himself even more. But yeah, all the add-ons on the defense should relate to a good outing against this Jacksonville Jaguar team. They've been able to put up points on the board, these Jacksonville Jaguars. So it should be very, very interesting what we see from the Jaguars against the Charger defense. See if they're the real type of deal. Yeah. Vice versa, Jaguars defense didn't allow the Colts to score at all. I don't know if it's more on Jacksonville's defense or the Colts just not doing great right now. I don't know, but we'll see against this offense, I guess. Like I said, Herbert got some cracked ribs. We'll see how he plays. Does Keenan Allen even play? I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. But still, I like the Chargers winning this one. As for covering spreads, I don't think they're going to cover the spread just because Jaguars have been playing hard. They're a sleeper team. So I feel like a close game is going to happen. 47 points is the over and under. I think they'll go over it. So I like the Chargers. They're not covering, though. Over. Next, another division matchup, NFC West. We got the LA Rams versus the Cardinals. Cardinals just, had a momentum boost of a game by coming back from a crazy situation as well. I mean, Kyler Murray did put the team on his back on that situation, so kudos to him. Defense did create the turnover that led to the touchdown at the overtime. Kudos to them. But that was my big question mark for this team is the defense. I don't think the defense has been playing that well. And I thought despite not having DeAndre Hopkins, I thought the team was able to score a little bit more points than they are too as well. So big question marks for this Cardinals team right now. As for the Rams, first game of the season, they win against heavy hitters in the Bills. Understandable. It is what it is. And this past week, they played against the Falcons. Early on, they handled business, but in the second half, Falcons crept, and they almost won the game. But some heroics from Jalen Ramsey sealed the deal and won the game. But at the same time, Falcons were able to creep up to the point to almost win the game. Did the defense lose a step by losing some players? I don't know, but they did give Bobby Wagner. But at the same time, Bobby Wagner has been with the Seahawks for so long. Changing teams might not have been the best thing for him. Who knows? I don't know. But as for this Rams offense, too, it's a little different. But, hey, you still got Cooper Kupp there. So Matthew Stafford's always going to be thrown to him. Yeah, I mean, I have no problems with the offense or defense of the Rams right now. Did they allow the Falcons to creep back? Yes, but they still sealed the deal and won. So that's all that matters. Out of this team, I like the Rams winning this one. They're Super Bowl champions. Cardinals hasn't proved nothing to say they're going to beat this team. I mean, they could, but at the same time, I'm like, not in a dominant fashion, I feel. So with that being the case, I like the Rams winning. I think they'll cover the 3.5 point spread as well since they are favorited. And 48.5 points is the over-under. We are going over. Rams win. Up next, we got the Falcons versus the Seahawks. Both teams have been very surprising. They, despite Atlanta not having a win, they've been fighting. They've been fighting, so I can't knock them for that. As for the Seahawks, they beat the Denver Broncos, and they had a tough game against the Niners as well. So I think you saw what the Seahawks are really going to be against this Niner team. So with that being said, Falcons, I think they could put up some points on the board. Definitely, even with Marcus Mariota. Not the crispest of offenses, but they get the job done. And as for the defense, I think everyone thought they would be a lot worse than they are, but they allow a lot of yards, but they could get some turnovers. So good on that defense for Falcons. I still think Seahawks are going to be more of the bottom of the bunch type of teams this year, but it seems like they do have situations of playing hard, so I do like that as well. As for this game, I like the Falcons. They are not favorites, so they're underdogs in this game. They're covering the spread since I picked them to win, but it's only 2.5 points they're getting as well, so it was going to be a close game. 42 points is the over and under. I got them going over in this matchup. Falcons win. Up next, we got the Green Bay Packers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both teams are shells of themselves from years ago, but I think they get the job done to win games. Green Bay likes losing their first game of the year just to bounce back and beat the team that plays them next. As for the Bucs, they're undefeated. They've been playing solid games, but at the same time, nothing groundbreaking. They just play a good game of football. I think they play up to their matchups, so good on them. But Buccaneers just haven't really been scoring that much either, so it's been mainly their defense of kind of holding them down, I feel. So, yeah, Bucs offense does have a lot of injuries, especially in the receivers as well. Green Bay's defense been playing pretty nice as well, too. They create pressure, X, Y, and Z. And offense, I think, is slowly getting better, I feel, for Aaron Rodgers. I think it's going to be a week-by-week basis. Obviously, the more time they play together, the more it helps Aaron Rodgers and that young core receivers get better too as well. That being said, I think in this week, I think the Packers get dubbed. They are the underdogs here, only by 1.5 points, so they are covering. The over-under is going to be 42 points, very, very low over-under. I think they'll go over it. I think 24-20 type of game, I feel. Packers win. Down to our last two games. We got the Sunday night game, 49ers versus Denver Broncos. So Trey Lance went down with a broken ankle, and Jimmy G is back on as a starter for the Niners. As for the Broncos, obviously Russell Wilson, but two disappointing showings from the Broncos right now. They've only scored 16 points in both games. Nothing really inspiring for this Broncos team. Everyone thought, elevation was going to happen, but we haven't really seen it yet. Defense has been disappointing. Offense has been disappointing. Yeah, I don't know what to think of this whole team together. Could be a coaching issue. Who knows? But yeah, disappointment on the Broncos end right now. As for the Niners, they always go through so many different injuries. Their running back room's kind of beat up right now, so it's hard to really determine that part. As for the defense, I think the defense does a great job, just preventing the other team from even doing anything as well. I mean, you really only saw their defense against Seahawks. I don't count the Chicago game because it was in crazy conditions. So their first real game was against the Seahawks and only allowed 7 points. Good on them. I think Jimmy G steps in and feels comfortable again. Gonna do what he does best, protect the ball, make safe throws. So good on Jimmy G coming back to be a starter. I like the Niners in this one. It's crazy that they're only favorited by 1.5 points. So Broncos are not that much of an underdog. Crazy, but I still like the Niners covering this one. 45 points is the over and under. We are going under this one because I just don't trust the Broncos scoring that much. So under 45. We got Niners covering. And to the Monday night game. NFC East matchup. Cowboys versus Giants. Let me go on record and say I apologize. I went against my boys last week for a very good reason, though. Line looked atrocious. The week 1 line looked atrocious. The only good thing was the defense in that game against the Bucs. So I went to the game. Into that game with no Dak Prescott too, saying, "Well, if this line ain't fixed, it's not going to go anywhere." So I went to the Bengals, but Bengals played worse than the Cowboys, I say. But yeah, I still don't like how the offense is kind of going right now. And it's mainly because of the line and because of the play calling. But I got a little bit more hope on Cowboys playing it more safe, on getting some points on the board as well. Playing it safe as in not making Cooper Crush do, dangerous types of throws and things like that. Calling a game that fits him. So I have faith on that part, and I have faith on our defense as well. Michael Parsons really trying to be Defensive Player of the Year this year. All the sacks, all the disruption. Yeah, I like where this defense is going. I'll flip it on the other side. As for the Giants, even though they haven't scored a lot of points, Saquon's back. And he looks good. Looks real good right now. Sterling Shepard looks like he's healthy for once. So good on them on that part. And I think underrated part of this team is the defense. I think the Giants' defense is actually pretty nice. A lot of people didn't believe me, or a lot of people just don't know names on that defense. Shit, I don't even know some of the players on the defense, but I just know. I've always been like, no, Giants always have a really competitive defense. Like, it's not an easy dub against the Giants when it comes to the defense. And I think this remains true again. I think it might be a low-scoring game. It might not be. It's definitely. I feel like it's definitely going to be in the 20s for both scores, so like 20-24. I like saying 20-24. Shit, it might even be like 21-20 type of game. But I got my boys on this one. We can get the dub. They're covering because they're the underdogs, only by 1 point though. And the over-under is 39, so we're going over. So I like Cowboys. They're covering in the over. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, with that edition of Spuddy'S Quick Picks. Make sure to let me know what your picks are. What do you think of my picks? If you want to talk shit about my picks, go ahead. Just let me know. We'll see how I do next week. Yeah. Remember, we are making content throughout the year. We should have a dookie list up from the previous week. We do have a recap up as well. France's injuries and waiver wire should be up. Thursdays we will be shooting our DraftKings episode, so Friday something will come out. And then, of course, when the games happen, chat it up. But we are always making content for you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. With that being said, I'm Spuddy McGee's. These were your quick picks for Buds and Sports, and I am out.